We've got a view of the war between Russia and Ukraine unlike any that we've seen until now from occupied Russian soil. Ukrainian forces are now holding parts of Russian territory. President Zelensky says they've taken control of a Russian town about 6 miles across the border. Our Paton Walsh was able to gain some of the first access to Ukrainian-held Russia today and witness their control over the town and the intensity of the fight. CNN was accompanied by the Ukrainian military, which reviewed the video you're about to see without sound prior to its release for operational security reasons. That said, they had no editorial control over what you're about to see. Here's Nick's report, and we want to warn you, some of what you're about to see is graphic.
This was never in Putin's plan, but still, into Russia we cross with Ukrainian forces moving forwards. Through the border post they destroyed in their surprise assault 10 days ago.
As we get closer towards Sudzha, we can see more smoke on the horizon, but still it's bizarrely calm on this road. And
pause a moment in these open fields and remember, this is the Cold War superpower. Unguarded, open, and never expecting, when Russian President Vladimir Putin launched his war of choice 2 years ago, to be invaded back. A Russian dead soldier still in the road. Ukraine only claimed here a day ago.
Well, not even the statue of Lenin is unscathed here. This Ukrainian assault, so persistent, and Russia, despite its sense of history, its sort of past as being so impregnable, completely unable to push the Ukrainians out here. The sound of small arms fire we can still hear, so clearly there is a bid for the Russians to push back, but simply isn't working, and the humiliation for Putin endures.
Days ago, locals had honoured their war dead, but none since the Nazis led Russia to face occupation.
You can see the damage that's been done to this street here from the intense fight that raged. Still clearly active fighting happening here.
A sign. In the basement here live peaceful people, no soldiers. Ina, 68, says 60 civilians are there.
Ваши ребята привезли коров много. Еда есть.
Just like we've seen in multiple Ukrainian towns over the last 2 years, here the locals trying to find some shelter from the war around them. Zelensky, как вас зовут?
Stanislav shows his grey.
Это же не жизнь. Это существование. Это не жизнь.
In the dark, huddled like so many Ukrainians now, the infirmed, isolated, begging for calm.
А теперь не знаю, чем закончится. Хотя бы договором хорошим, чтобы мы мирно жили. Нам не надо ничего. Только стылик мой, я не так. Тяжело очень.
Day, night, light, dark, news or blackout all blur into one.
Неделя. Ни новости никакие. Ну, что происходит вокруг нас? Не верю. А вот как с ними?
Yefimov is over 90 and wants to leave to Ukraine, but there is no route out, he says.
Вы только первый год пришли сюда.
Понятно. А в коридор пока невозможно.
Ой, там у меня и дочка, и племянники, и внуки. И я-то русский, они, мужья у них все украинцы.
Again, ordinary streets that never guessed of their destruction or newfound fame days ago. Vacant in the storm around them. Normal life here vanished in a hurry, leaving store floors as barracks. And Nina, 74, out looking for a pharmacy for her medication.
Я нет. Если бы я хотела, я бы выехала. А почему я должна выехать? Там, где я 50 лет живу. Здесь у меня дочь на кладбище, мама. Ну, как на Украине, я живу на своей земле. А я не знаю, чья это земля еще, и вообще не понимаю ничего.
It is a war that keeps turning the world order on its head, where wreckage that lined Ukraine's fields now haunts Russia's. Ukrainians learn to paint over their road signs to confuse the invaders, but still here, the signs ask God to protect and save Russia. That was Putin's job. it's not clear when he's coming back.
No, Anderson, it's clear that Ukraine does have the ability to project force pretty far outside of Sudzha. We're not quite clear why there was so little drone or aviation threat from the Russians inside that town. We were told because the main fighting was using all that capacity from Russia further away from where we were. But we also saw, too, the volume of equipment and resources Ukraine is still pouring into that part of Russia that it's taken. And clearly the trip we were on was designed to show how much in control they are and relatively calm they are in Sudzha itself. But it is not all good news here. This surprise assault has certainly brought them international attention and the idea that they're on their front foot. But elsewhere in the east, near Pokrovsk, a vital Ukrainian military hub, they're seeing Russia getting closer and closer, potentially within 3 or 4 miles of the outskirts of that key area. And indeed, if Russia were able to use its artillery on that hub, it would be a significant loss for the Ukrainian operations in the east, in the Donbass. So give and take, certainly, but being no doubt at all, what we're seeing in the Kursk region is Ukraine boldly pushing forwards, and it's fair to say, not about to give up anytime soon. Anderson?
Nick Paton Walsh, thank you. Be careful.